I've been working for the union for about 4 years, where really my main goal is to provide students on campus and the rest of the campus community, but to provide students with excellent rates for any kind of design services, photography, and I love students. I love having students come into my office and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this thing with my org or my, my band or whatever, and then finding out a way to really help you be successful in whatever you want to do in that area. So I have a tea kettle. I love having people come in, sit with me, brainstorm, and then figure out how I can really help you meet your goals. So that's kind of who I am, very student focused, and also I love design and marketing, and I'm really passionate about it. So today we're just going to kind of go through. I made this fun little booklet, and I've got a whole bunch of extra ones as well. I also put one of these in here that says just some of the things that we do in DesignWorks, and then on the other side I've created some packages specifically for student orgs. So I know that students are spending often their own money. If you're working on behalf of a student organization, whether you're spending your own money or whether you have dues that you can pull from for marketing, I've created a special pricing for student orgs. So that's listed on the back as well. I don't want to be really salesy. I really want this to be about you guys. It's not, like I said, my goal is to help you and to give you tools to succeed in your work. So, okay, so I've got to remember, okay, what all is on this PowerPoint here. So thinking about why marketing matters. Does anybody have any experience in marketing so far, taken any marketing classes or anything like that? So this is all a little bit?
I'm a marketing minor. So.
Great. So it's all not completely new to you, but some new concepts to some of you. So you can either kind of jot some notes down as we're going through this, or you can fill it out in your own time. I would love to hear your feedback as you're talking about your orgs, and maybe bouncing ideas off of each other. If you want to contribute in any way you can, please feel free to speak up, and don't feel like you have to raise your hand or anything. It can be more like a discussion. So marketing can educate others. So when you think about why marketing matters, think about it in light of your organizational goals, and then ask yourself, for each one of these, ask yourself, why do we want to educate others? What topics are you trying to educate people about? And then maybe you're more interested in building awareness. So that could be, why do you want to increase this event or organization or issue? So what is it that you're kind of wanting to teach or tell the university community or other students about? Marketing can also matter to establish connections for your organization. So that could be retention of current members, growth of new membership, or any strategic partnerships with staff, faculty, people in the community, professional partners, things of that nature. So you can jot down anything, and if you want to share, then please feel free to do so. So there's lots of questions that we can kind of go through together. Does anybody have a main goal in their organization of educating others? Yeah?
So we're kind of a new organization. We actually just registered this semester.
Awesome. Congratulations. I know there's a lot of stuff to do to get that rolling. That's awesome.
So we're kind of just looking to grow. There's about 7 of us.
Okay.
And honestly, about 4 of them are active member, including the president and vice president.
Awesome.
Yes. So we kind of just wanted to see how we can get our message across. We reached out to other organizations throughout, mostly cultural based, to see if that we can perform at their events. And our whole thing right now is just to make it a bigger.
Yeah, for people to know that you are here.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Anybody else have anything else that they're trying to focus on with their marketing?
My group is a musical theater org, so we're always trying to get people to come out to our smaller events, so then we can advertise more for our show at the end of the semester.
Great.
That's it.
What kind of smaller events do y'all put on?
We do a showcase,
Okay.
And we try and show up, we try to partner with some of the other organizations, like the improv group here at campus, and show up and put our name out there and support other groups.
Awesome.
Just things like that.
Fantastic. Anybody else? Yeah.
Our goal is just to recruit more pre-health, pre-dental, pre-med students so that we can involved in shadowing and clinical, shadowing doctors and dentists, and volunteering. But yeah, we just want to create awareness about the organization.
So for something like that, it sounds like you could end up having like two different styles of marketing, like one to establish those professional connections. That messaging is going to look really different, which we'll get to in a minute. But that messaging might look really different than marketing to get more students to join your organization. So finding those partners in the, in your field professionally will have kind of different messaging. So that may be something to consider when you're looking at like establishing connections versus building awareness of your organization. So the other thing that the reason marketing matters is to keep your organization on brand. So that's branding and marketing is a part of student organization management. It should be something that you're considering within, like what your organization kind of looks like to the public and to people that you're trying to reach. So your communications will reflect your values. So when I came in and started managing DesignWorks, I kind of started to reflect a lot of myself through DesignWorks. So clearly I'm not the only person there, but come on in guys, feel free to come in. So we have a very clear color scheme that we work with. We have a logo, we have all kind of, there's a lot of fun things that I'm able to do within that color scheme and within those kind of branding elements that have really helped keep us recognizable. We have not only our logo, but we also work with, I don't know if you know where we are downstairs, but we've got a small storefront, but we've painted on the walls, and we've got our hands. That's kind of because we work with our hands a lot, so that's something that we've really incorporated as a graphic, kind of recognizable into our branding. So it's fun. I think this is a really fun part of marketing, is creating that brand and creating something that's, I think playing with color and graphics is always a really great way to make your organization recognizable to others. So you can write any information right in there about your current branding, or maybe like aspirational, this is all on the first page, maybe aspirational information about what you want your branding to be like. And I know we only have an hour, so I'm gonna move fairly quickly through things, but this book is yours to take. If you wanna take extras, I printed off like 40. So come to me at the end and grab one. My business card is also, you probably noticed, stapled to this little flyer, so come and see me anytime. So identifying your mission. So I'm guessing that all of you, when you set up your organization, you had to have some kind of mission statement. Thank you, bless you. I was like, perfect, awesome. I don't mind getting up and down. Is that a part of your organization registration process, coming up with a mission statement? So you probably already have something like this. This is a good, helpful place to start if you ever want to kind of rethink what that looks like and go back to your mission statement and maybe change a few things about it. This kind of page is an opportunity to think about why your organization was created and what are the overarching goals that you want to accomplish. I think even if you already have a mission statement, taking that statement, again, refreshing your memory about it, restating it in different ways, looking at really what it is, what your goals are and what you really want to accomplish. And then describing what your organization is. Is it academic, social, service-oriented, or something else? And then what kind of activities and events do you plan on holding? This is kind of just, the basics of not only starting an organization, but what you want to be about, what you want to communicate to other people in your wider audience. And then what can potential new members expect from your meetings, your events, involvement from other members, those types of things. So when you write your mission statement, you want it to be short and sweet. Define and describe. Be clear and broad enough to guide decision-making and help explain your organization to potential members, but keep it within that 4 to 5 sentence range. And then to talk about organizational goal setting, I think that this is really important when you're thinking about, you can think about this in the broad sense or really a little more targeted in a marketing sense. Set some SMART goals. So think about the opportunities that your members have within the organization. Are they going to be enhancing their understanding of a topic, providing service to the community, allowing members to gain professional and personal skills, becoming leaders? Is that an opportunity for people? That's often a draw for people to have some leadership roles in a student organization. perhaps to become leaders in their families, communities, and careers, to gain skills to manage their own lives or develop a skill. So you can, right here, you can outline some of those opportunities that are unique to your organization, and then use those opportunities to set SMART goals. I'm guessing you guys have all set SMART goals in your personal life or for leadership opportunities. That's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based. So would anybody like to, we'll think for a couple minutes and then share maybe 1 or 2 marketing goals that are SMART? And you've got to be specific. So it could be, we would like to grow our organization by 10 members, or we would like to establish branding for our organization, or anything like that. The next page is where we start to get into some more kind of marketing language, and we're going to talk about our target audience here. Let's see. Okay. So the target audience in marketing, we call it market segmentation. And what that means is you're taking the entire market. That's anyone that you typically when we're talking about marketing, we're talking about companies, right? But you could think of your organization similarly to the way a marketing team would think about a company. The entire market is who that company could serve through products, goods, or services, right? So for you guys, the entire market would be anybody that might be at UNT as a student, could join your organization, could be those established, those connections, career connections you want to establish with others. It could be really anybody who might need to hear your messaging. Maybe you're doing fundraising. In that case, your audience could even be people who you're trying to partner with for fundraising. Those types of things. So the first thing that you want to do when you're thinking about your market segmentation is, instead of thinking about every single person that could hear, you want to find a segment of that. You want to make it as targeted and as specific as possible. I'm going to sit up here so that I can see a little bit better. Yeah, you want to make it as targeted and specific as possible so that you can really narrow in on messaging that's for that specific group of people. So what you'll do is define your audience by thinking about who you want to reach. So finding your target audience allows you to pinpoint who you're speaking to through your marketing communications. Specificity is key. So this is where you're going to kind of get into the nitty-gritty of who you're trying to talk to. You're going to look at these different groups. So demographics. What age are you trying to reach? What stage of life? I think for a lot of people, because you're in a student organization, if you're marketing to get new members, you'll be thinking about people who are maybe in this 18 to 24 age range. Their stage of life is probably college. Maybe it's a little different. Maybe you want to reach people who are coming into college. So maybe they're, you're looking at them as not quite a college student yet. They're coming in as a freshman, so they're figuring out what that transition looks like from high school to college. Or maybe you're specifically looking for non-traditional students, people who are older, people who have families, people who have, who have come back to school. Maybe that's relevant to your group as well. Sex and gender identity. Maybe this matters to your organization. Maybe it doesn't. I think it depends on your goals. Location. Does your audience live in Denton, or are they commuters? What do you typically find with people who are attracted to your organization? Not all of these things will matter, but some of them definitely will. So what you want to do is target those things that definitely will matter to be able to create that targeted messaging for a specific audience group. Language, race, and ethnicity. Do they come from a particular part of the world? Maybe they're more of an international student. Maybe they don't always, maybe they speak English, maybe they speak another language as well. Should your marketing messaging have 2 different languages on it? Things like that. And then interests. Think about this, your ideal member or your ideal partner in the community. What are their likes, their interests? Where do they go on the weekends? If you're targeting a specific group based on career goals, what's their major and their minor? Where are their classes? Where are they hanging out on campus? All of these things will start to create a picture of how you're going to talk to someone and where you're going to put that messaging. It doesn't always make sense to put, if you're in an art organization, It might not make sense to put your lawn signs by the business building, right? So think about like where those people are taking their classes, where they're hanging out. If they're a commuter, are they waiting for the bus? Is there a way that you can market, in and around bus areas or particular apartment complexes, things like that? Really start to build this picture of who you're trying to reach in the most detailed way possible. Other involvement. Is your ideal audience in other student organizations? So I heard that some of you are already partnering with organizations. I think that's incredibly smart. I think it's a great way to build your base. I think it's a great way to be able to pool resources. I know that, like I said, I know that you guys are students. I know that we're working with limited resources as students. And so, being able to come together and do something a little bit bigger to be more visible is really great. So start, go through that list of organizations on OrgSync. See which ones kind of match your vibe, your statement, your goals, your, what you're all about. You had a hand up? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to ruin your.
No, you're fine. I'll talk all day.
So I was gonna ask, like you were saying, in order to target specific people, let's say we know that typically we're going for someone who is an international student.
Sure.
Because they sometimes tend to shy away from a lot of student organizations
Mhm.
because they might not know what they are, or for very other reasons. So let's say we are targeting a very specific. So is there a way to find out how, like you were saying, where to put the signs? Is there a way we would know that information? Where do they typically reside in
Sure.
the student buildings and stuff like that?
That's a great question. I think you might be able to partner with UNT International and see if there's any data that they have about their students. I don't know how, they're not going to be able to give you sensitive data, but they might have some that's available to you because you're trying to serve students. You want to, get people more involved in the university, and staff are eager to see that as well, because we know that students that are more involved on campus are more likely to stay here, they're more likely to be happy. So my guess is that if you start talking to maybe some full-time people about how you can accomplish that, you'll be able to find that out. And then also by, if you're tabling, have people do a little survey. Have people that are interested in your organization do a survey to find out some of that basic information. If you end up doing, transfer orientations, or I know that there's international orientations, if you do something like that, you might be able to glean a little bit more information about, where your ideal people might be. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And then so when and where to connect. So thinking about when the best time to reach your audience is. Where are they? Where do they live? Where are their classes? Do they ride a bus or do they park and walk? Do they go to football games? Where do they hang out? Where do they study? Where do they go to study? Are they on campus, library studiers? Or do they, and some of this you can, some of this you will know by the nature, you'll kind of figure out by the nature of the people that are already in your organization. So kind of building a picture based on stuff that is already familiar to you. How's the most effective way to reach them? Are they on social media? Maybe what platforms of social media do you find that most people are on that are interested in your organization? Are they likely to read a poster or flyer, or is it better to give them a physical handout? Those types of things matter as well. So here on this other page, you can start to begin to form this plan. Spend a couple minutes writing that specific information about your target audience, as much as you have, and then some best ways to reach your target audience. And if you guys have any questions or comments and you want to use this time to chat about it or ask me a question, feel free to do so. So a SWOT analysis, you may have done this in a marketing class if you've taken a marketing class, or I did one. I'm a library science grad student, so I did a SWOT analysis in one of my library science classes. It is basically a way to examine your organization in light of your best strengths, some of your weaknesses, opportunities that you may have, and threats that you may have. So I've kind of outlined, and threat sounds kind of ominous. It's not, it's not really about who, if there's another organization threatening you. It's about, where are some potential pitfalls in your marketing for your student organization. So your strengths are going to be, and you can jot some of these things down or do it later. This is kind of a little bit like a level up in terms of marketing info, so don't feel like you have to do this right now. But strengths are things that your organization does really well. If you've been established for a while, this will, I think, be a little bit easier. You'll know what some of the things are that you do well. Qualities that set you apart from other organizations, and internal resources, such as maybe you have an organized executive board, maybe you have lots of opportunities for leadership and volunteerism, those types of things. Weaknesses could be resource limitations. I think that's really common again for students. Lots of people have resource limitations. And in writing some of these things down, thinking about, okay, how can we overcome this weakness? How can we solve this problem of limited resources? Those types of things can start to guide you. What are some things that other organizations are doing really well? This says doing better than you, but really use it as an opportunity to think about, weaknesses can turn into opportunities, right? So think about if another student organization, you notice that they're doing that really, really well, you can start doing that. Find a way to make it work for your organization to be as successful as you can be. And then opportunities could be like looking for underserved campus groups or individuals. Partnering with different student orgs can be an opportunity. Finding, maybe there are few organizations like yours, that can be an opportunity as well. It can also be an opportunity to find, like I said, ways to connect with other organizations. So, and then opportunities and threats, you could also think about, this sounds funny, but media coverage, right? Yes, even though we're on a college campus, there is an opportunity to create buzz through maybe having the New York Times, the NT Daily write an article about you, or human interest story. There could be a way to, I know there's ways to advertise with them, I know they do charge, but there are opportunities there, and also with other groups that are interested in kind of sharing your story. I know that there are departments that are also interested in telling the story. I feel like Student Activities could be an example of a department that's curious about the stories of their organizations. We want to hear these success stories. Those things are really awesome to hear. The union also does stuff like that as well. So if you're looking for departments to partner with as well, I can help you brainstorm some of those ideas too, some opportunities there. And then I'll say threats. This isn't my favorite box because I don't like thinking about organizations being in competition with each other, but students are, one of our limited resources is time, right? So students might choose to spend their time working for one organization rather than another. So maybe new organizations that are similar to yours, is it better to join forces rather than having two groups that are basically doing the same thing? Are there UNT policies that affect your student organization? Those might be things that come up over time, or even within, if you're in a professional organization, are there policies within a professional organization that's changing? Has there been negative media coverage of your organization? I really don't think that this would happen unless there was kind of a PR nightmare for student org, but definitely something to consider. And then changing attitudes towards your organization. Okay. So like I said, that was a little bit kind of like extra credit. Okay, so creating your marketing plan, decide on a marketing budget. This is often something that is least likely to have people spend their money on, but one of the most important things. So think about it as, as an investment for your organization. I think there are certainly ways to keep things inexpensive and even free, social media being an excellent opportunity there. And I've also created, hopefully, a very valuable page in here, which is resources, discounts, and ideas on the next page that has lots of options for some places to get started with some marketing. So when you decide on your marketing budget, decide how much is your marketing going to cost you each semester. Get quotes from lots of different places, and then prioritize where you'd like to spend your money. Is it, as you're thinking about reaching students, if they're more likely to respond to a flyer being put in their hand, that is where, you should spend money on handbills rather than, say, lawn signs or a promoted ad on social media, things like that. The nice thing about being in a student org is there are opportunities to do things for free. And I think that's maximizing on those things is really important. Use a calendar and stick with it. You don't have to have a fancy, paid app or premium, marketing planning subscription or anything like that. Use Google Sheets and Google Calendar and have a shared, Google Doc between you and your other members where you can create a visual for every month of what you're going to post on social media when. Or there's a lot of information here, so I'm just going to kind of go through it. So fill your calendar with every when, what, and who. When will you schedule social media posts? Who will post? And what kind of content? Across what platform? When will you have tabling opportunities? Who will be there to table? This is an opportunity for your organization members to get more involved. And let me tell you, tabling, there is an art to tabling. And I think it's a skill. I really like seeing, my students. I love to table. I'm an extrovert, so I love talking to people. But it is a skill that I like to often give to my students who are learning in that area. It can really grow a skill. Learning how to make an elevator pitch is a big deal. When you go out into the career world and you're networking, being able to talk about who you are and what you bring to the table in 30 seconds or less is a key skill to have, and you learn how to do that when you're tabling. I think tabling is a really good opportunity to learn skills that you can use in lots of other areas and not just your student org. Getting people's attention and selling to them within, I say selling, but, telling them what you're all about in a rapid fire, it is a skill that is learned for sure. So practice that, before you go out tabling. Practice kind of giving that pitch, as it were, to each other and how you're going to grab people's attention while you're standing there at the table. What will your giveaways or main talking points be? And a giveaway doesn't have to be something that's, expensive. I think a lot of the time it can be something very simple, like a button or a handout, or I'll do I know this is a little different because I am a business, but I'll do coupons and things of that nature. It can be something, a printout that they can put up in their dorm room or something. Students are always looking for fun, cute little things like that. When do you need to have your posters designed by, and what will they be advertising? And then where will you put them if you decide to use posters? When will you be advertising for certain events? You'll want to work backwards in your calendar from whenever you have those events so that you can really plan out. And having all of these things color-coded on one specific calendar will help with people who are visual, will help people put things on their own calendars. They can go to a specific day and see, what's going on. And it's really easy to use these the Google tools that are available to you for free to be able to map something like this out. Make sure that everyone who will have marketing responsibilities will have access to your calendar. That's really important to make sure that people feel like they have ownership within your student organization. So consider an overarching campaign. Yes, it's important to advertise for each specific event that you have, but it can also be just as useful to do something that is about your organization in general and not just for something specific. Does that make sense? So you could advertise for an event, for a showcase, for example, but you could also do an advertising campaign that talks about what students can get out of your organization, something like that. A general campaign can build awareness of your organization, gain the attention from your target audience, and drive membership. So an overarching campaign is all about talking about your big idea of your student organization. Maybe there's a way to showcase someone who graduated and has used the skills that they learned in your org to better themselves and to be able to find a job or something after college. That could be really useful. So analytics tools. Don't forget about the analytics tools that you have available to you for free. If you have a Facebook page, you will have the opportunity to see the demographics of the people who are looking at, people don't use Facebook anymore. Instagram Insights is probably a better example. I find that Gen Z is not as interested in Facebook. It's like the junk email that they send me to if I'm like, hey, for the union. People don't really. Do any of y'all use Facebook? Oh, you do? No? It's a mix. You still do? I mean, I'm on there, but I find that a lot of Gen Z, they're like, anytime that we'll go tabling for the union, and we'll say, oh, you know, follow us on a form of social media, they're like, oh, just use my Facebook. And I'm like, okay. I get it. It's just like you're signing me up with a junk email. But if you have a Facebook page, if you have Instagram, you have access to these insights if you're set up as basically a business page. Use those. Figure out who the people are. Where are they looking at your information? When are they looking? So you can figure out kind of the best times of days to post, who you can target, those types of things. People who are already engaging with you, you can find a way to reward them as well. Don't forget evaluation. So keep track of what's working and what isn't, so that as you continue going on in your organization marketing, you can kind of hone a little bit more of your target audience, and you can hone how you can maximize your dollar. You know, if people are really engaging with you on Instagram, it might be worth doing some boosted posts or, you know, some sponsored content. I think that's as you evaluate, you'll be able to figure those things out and those nuances a little bit more. Let me see how I'm doing on time here. Great. Okay. Ask yourself, did you do what you set out to do? If yes, then great. If no, then make tweaks and recalibrate as you go on. So the last one I like to consider is always consider disability accessibility. Not everyone has, you know, the same physical abilities. So your organization ideally would never, you know, restrict someone from coming based on their ability. So for example, if you decide to do a promo video, consider closed captioning on that video so that people who are hard of hearing would be able to hear what you have to say, and it can be promoted to them as well. That's just one example. It really all depends on how you're marketing. You know, if you have a person who's blind, for example, they're not going to be able to, their screen reader might not be able to read the caption that you have in an Instagram image, whereas if you describe that image in the caption, people will be able to have more accessibility to it. And then on the back here, I have some examples of free resources, discounts, and ideas. So Eagle's Nest is something that SGA does that's available to you. You can go on sga.unt.edu, and I've put everything in here of like where you can go to find out more about this. But they sponsor funding for events, services, and projects. I have people that come down and get their marketing done at DesignWorks that has been completely paid for by Eagle's Nest. So you have to attend some of their meetings and apply for funding. Is anybody familiar with Eagle's Nest? Yeah, so that's something that can be available to you in your student organization. We can design for you, but you can also design your own graphics through things like Canva. It's a simplified graphics design tool on a website. There is also LinkedIn Learning. Like if you don't know, if you want to try your hand at some of your own design and maybe learn that skill, you have access as a student to LinkedIn Learning. I put the website in there, but they do tutorials and classes for any of the Adobe softwares, and you can learn, you know, some basics of design that way as well. You also have the ability to I guess it's, Creative Cloud is $19 for students, which is incredible. So there's all kinds of things that are available for students that would be much more expensive or less accessible, I think, than because you guys are students. It's great. UNT Union digital signage. So like I said, we work for the union. We manage all of the screens throughout the union. That is free for student organizations. Anytime you want to promote, it has to be promoting a specific event. So run for a specific period of time, but that's available to you. I put the website in there, but you can go on, there's a digital signage form on our website that you fill out, upload your content, and bam, we'll put it on the screens typically within the day or the next day. So that's a good opportunity for you guys. Residence halls, this is the information about where you would go if you want to advertise within res halls. They have some digital signage, but they also do have bulletin boards where you can give them your posters and they'll distribute them to the residence halls. You can put these buildings have bulletin boards where students can hang flyers freely. A lot of buildings are moving digital, so this is subject to change, but this current list is up to date. I will say, a lot of the times in the union, we will get people that will put signs in the bathrooms. I don't know if, clearly I only go to the ladies' room, but I don't know if any of y'all have ever noticed that. People put things on the back of, don't ever do that. Because we're paperless, we have the ability to advertise on our screens, and we're paperless, so I recycle all that. And I always feel terrible. Sometimes I'll email the org and be like, hey, do you want to, you want your posters back? Because you're not really supposed to advertise in here. Don't waste your money putting flyers in the bathrooms in the union. Sounds like a good idea in theory, but someone like me, an old Scrooge, will come along and take them down. So it's just the policy for the union. But you're welcome to use the screens for free. So you have that option. Lawn signs. People are always wondering, well, where do I go to, get approval to put out lawn signs? So there's no real centralized location and governing body for lawn signs. What I say to people, so if you buy them through us, the student organization price is $9. It's flat rate, and that includes a stand. Go back and get your stands, because to buy it again would be like $6 without a stand, and you'd already have your stand. But if you leave them out too long, facilities comes along, like the landscaping crew will come along and take them. And I don't actually know where they take them. I've actually lost a lot of lawn sign stakes that way. I don't know where the lawn sign stake graveyard is, but I do know that they do take them. So go back, leave them out for a couple weeks, and then go back and, change your signs out or pick them up and then use those stakes for another occasion. The lawn sign rules, they just need to meet UNT community guidelines and rules. They can't be a violation of any UNT policy, has to be open to everyone, those types of things, which, as student organizations, most likely you would not restrict someone from coming along to your organization. Student activities has the opportunity to have 100 free black and white prints at student activities, which is awesome. So that's another way that you can get something free to advertise. And there's a lot of ways, black and white doesn't have to be boring. There's a lot of ways that you can make things look exciting with contrast and have something, that's free for you to put up and advertise or hand out to people. Okay. And then marketing events, student org fair at orientation, make sure you sign up for that. That's, go every time that you can. I know it's kind of a beating to get there and set up your table and set up all your stuff. I get it. I do it every time. But it's an awesome opportunity to meet freshmen. And they are eager to get involved. So definitely a really good opportunity to find people who are keen to be part of your group. Tabling on campus. So there's through the UNT Union Scheduling Office, there's some tabling opportunities, and then also involvement fairs through student activities. There's a lot of those opportunities that you can have throughout the school year. Take advantage of those things. These things are free. The only thing it costs you is your time. And then if you're part of an organization that, if your ideal target audience may take certain classes, have someone make an in-class announcement. Talk to that professor and see if, figure out when those classes are and make yourself known to those students, especially if it's a professional or a career, or major related organization. And then for digital marketing, don't forget about your social media and OrgSync. You can maximize your OrgSync presence by keeping your page branded, informative, consistent, and up to date. And then highlight your org and the events feature to share your approved events as well. So a little, we can talk about social media a little bit too. So not every platform is going to be best for you, like I mentioned earlier. So, which platform is best? I would recommend having the same handle across all platforms that you use. It will make it's another way to stay branded. It's a way that people will continue to recognize your organization. Change to a business account if that's available to you. Use those analytics, use those insights to make informed decisions for your marketing later on. Branding, have a good bio, something catchy. What's that elevator pitch? How are you speaking to your audience who may, even stumble across your page? Have a good profile image that's, again, consistent. If you have a logo, awesome. If you don't, we can help you. It is a little more pricey to create a logo simply because it takes more time. But if you come to us with a sketch or something that you really know the direction that you want to go in, that can cut down on a lot of that time. And I'm happy to, honestly, y'all, I'm happy to talk to you all day long about, like for free consultation about how we can help you guys be successful. That's part of my goal, is to help students be successful. There are scheduling apps that you can use, like Hootsuite, Color Story, and TweetDeck. Some of these things are paid, but some of them are free that you can use. Content should always be formatted correctly. Make sure that people can see the image on Instagram versus Twitter. They all have different dimensions for their different, it's better to have an image in every post, so there's a way to format things that's correct for every platform. Include images and videos, and then use hashtags when relevant. Hashtags aren't always relevant. It doesn't make sense to have a hashtag for everything. But if you are at you're tabling at an event and there's a UNT homecoming hashtag, use it. Because people that are scrolling through, you'll get, more visibility at any opportunity like that. You never know where you might pick up a new member. If anybody's interested in there's a lot of visuals that you can find like this about how to market on different platforms. If anybody's interested in this slideshow, I'm happy to send it to you, so just let me know. This is from CoSchedule, which is a good website as well. So more social media content. Evergreen content, that's the name that I'll wrap up really soon. That's the name that we give to things that is useful at any time. That could be, come join our organization. Here's how you can benefit from joining our organization. That's evergreen content. So you can really maximize on those. Publicizing your events. You could do giveaways. What's an inexpensive, thing that you could do as a giveaway? Could it be, maybe someone would be interested in a book or having their textbook bought for them for a class. Maybe it's an opportunity to, tickets to an event or something like that you could do as a giveaway that could really help generate some interest. Behind the scenes or day in the life. So what is it like for a person in your organization? What do they do as part of being involved in the organization? Like behind the scenes before an event could be really fun, that sort of thing. Student highlights, so highlight the students in your organization. They will share content that is about them. They want people to see them. So they're more likely to share, say you've highlighted. So we're going to highlight, Mary in our student organization, and then Mary puts that all over her social media, so, it will drive perhaps more of your target audience back to your page. Industry news, so if it's a career focused, or even if there's a new, do you do like dances as they relate to Bollywood movies or music from movies? That could be, considered industry news. Anything like that that's relevant to people. Sharing relevant content, so that can be collaborations with any other social media platform or organization. Anything that relates to what you do. Let people know about it. Engagement driven, that can kind of go along with a giveaway, so something that really, will boost your engagement. Like this tag friend type thing. Quick tips and advice is always great content. Memes, gifs, or quotes. Holiday posts, people really like to maximize on, is there some kind of musical theater day, or is there something that, you can really attach onto your, that is relevant. It's always important to be relevant, I'm trying to think, like maybe Dog Day isn't the most relevant day if your organization is about cats, that type of thing. So keep it relevant. Start a conversation. Is there a way that you can really rope people into an engagement, like a back and forth rather than you just telling them something? How can you get something from them? What's your favorite XYZ? Those types of things. Infographics are great. Links to resources, announcements as they pertain to your organization or topic. Reshare your top performing posts. If you're looking at those analytics and insights and you notice that one particular post does better than anything else, wait a couple months, post it again. It's always another way to get your message in someone's brain. And then, I've been asking questions, kind of like starting a conversation there. And that's kind of the end of what I've got. Hopefully you found something that was useful to you guys. Again, I want to be a resource to you, so please feel free to come down and talk to me. I've got information on here again about some different stuff that we do that I thought might be relevant for you. We even do buttons and magnets downstairs. We can make cards. We can make, say you had an industry professional come and talk to your organization. We could make a thank you card that you're able to sign and send back to them. a couple things on here that I didn't know if you would know what they are. So I can design pub boards. This is my pub board. I will say the difference between the audience that I got before I had this and after I had this for tabling is like nowhere near able to compare. This has gotten me so much attention because it's, you know, and it doesn't have to be like a aluminum trifold like this. It can be a cardboard trifold that we jazz up and make look really nice for you. This is basically large format prints, and it's evergreen content, so it's always going to be relevant. You know, having pictures and stuff on there really grabs people's attention. So let me know if that's something that you're interested in for tabling, is like kind of taking it to the next level. And then this is a pop-up banner. This is another, it's a little bit more expensive, but with the stand, I think it's $75. But there's opportunities again for it to be a really good investment piece for something that you take tabling or something that you, you know, put up outside a room for saying, you know, event today or something like that. So some options there. And again, I want to work with you and be able to help you achieve your goals. So. Yeah, we also do photography. So if you want headshots of your group or event photography, something that you can use in the next year. We don't print the t-shirts or promo items, but we can design for them. So we do that downstairs as well. And then any kind of logos or branding, brochures. We can make tailgate banners, posters, flyers, and signs, handouts, lawn signs, all kinds of stuff. I can even blow up balloons for you guys for an event. So come down and see me. I'd love to be able to help you out. Even if it's just talking with you about what you want to achieve. So thank you so much for listening to me ramble on for an hour. I really should have brought some water because my throat is dry. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, my absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming.